Jaggurdev, Jaya Masters. In physics, scientists say, most modern levels of physics, that there's 4 fundamental forces in the universe. I don't care whether you understand them, you have to learn them. I don't care if you know anything about them. But they say there's 4. Electromagnetism, gravity, strong nuclear, and weak nuclear. Really, it's okay if you know something about them. You know what magnetism is? Electromagnetic force that attracts or repulses things. You know what gravity is? Although they say gravity is not a force, it's okay. They call it a force. Gravity's objects attract each other. Why is still being argued. Strong nuclear, that one sounds so complicated, strong and weak nuclear, but they're so simple it's ridiculous. You know that magnetically, forces of the same polarity will repel each other. But you're taught that the nucleus of every single atom is filled with protons and neutrons. Neutrons are neutral, protons are positive. Well, how in the world do you pack a whole bunch of positive things in so tight? The nucleus is one of the tightest things there is in the universe. How do they stay together? Why don't they repel each other? There must be some force that's stronger than magnetism that holds it together. Oh, there is, the strong nuclear force. There. I swear to God. Now you understand what the strong nuclear force is. There must be a force that is able to hold all those positive forces together, and there is. And the weak nuclear force is what happens with decay, radioactive decay, that even though it's all held together, too many electrons and so on tend to fall apart, and so it decays. So that's the weak nuclear force. So there, you have 4 forces. Is it true? I'm going to ask you now, because you're way smarter than any physicist, any, Einstein, anybody, all the quantum physicists, everything. You are smarter than them. I'm going to ask you a question. Do you know of another force in the universe other than those 4? Because I'm telling you, you do. You deal with it every second of your life. So there may be atoms holding this glass together, and they may have in the nucleus a strong nuclear force holding it together, and they may have electromagnetism and gravity. Obviously, if I drop it, it will fall. Correct? If I drop it, you know that. Should I try it? Okay. But I want to ask you a question. How did it get up here? Electromagnetism did it? See, it was here, and now it's here. Was that an electromagnetic force that forced it to rise up here like, floating? Was it strong nuclear, weak nuclear? Gravity pulled it up here? Something pulled it up here. Nothing happens without a force causing it to happen. There must be another force that they don't talk about. Isn't that amazing? You deal with it every day of your life, don't you? What's that force called? Willpower, volition. You inside, now again, to be fair to them, they're talking about outside, all right? Now somebody's got to study the outside. Well, somebody's got to study the inside. So here's how you study the inside. Are you in there? Are you in there? Have you noticed you're in there? Is there an in there? Or is there just these forces outside? Okay, there's an in there, all right? Do you have volition? Can you cause things to happen for no reason other than you decided to cause them to happen? Yes or no? That's pretty far out. You're a pretty powerful dude and do this. Pay attention. Isn't that neat? Well, that force is called willpower. What is willpower? It's an inner force. I explained the strong nuclear force by saying there must be a force that's stronger than magnetism that holds together the nucleus. So I can say there must be a force that causes things to happen because you decided so. That's a kind of a cheap definition, though. All right? What is willpower? You want to have a deep spiritual talk? You talk about that because you do have it, don't you? All right? There are branches or pockets of psychology, I've seen them, I respect them, that says there is no willpower, that you don't have willpower. Have you ever heard that? People say you don't have willpower. The reason they say that is because inside of you, you have thoughts and emotions. They're not out here. They have nothing to do with strong nuclear, weak nuclear, electromagnetism, or gravity. So you have a world inside. They have studied that world. I'm glad they have. Freud, everybody studied it. And they came up with something that I think they pretty much all agree with, which is your inside, your thoughts and your emotions, are the sum of your learned experiences. It's true. You think you decide what you like and don't like. You do not. You've had experiences in the past that have made impressions on your mind and your emotions. And when experiences similar to those outside, similar to the inner experience that you had in the past, happens outside, it brings that back up. So if what you had in the past was a nice experience with blondes or redheads or women or men, then it brings them back up. I told you, the good way, you had an ex-husband and he was a real schnook. That's why he's ex. Congratulations. All right? And his name was Ben. I'm telling you, you don't go out with Bens anymore. You say things like, I've had enough Bens for the rest of my life. Don't you blind date me with a Ben. Your impressions inside from your past experiences determine what you like and what you don't like. All right, she's doing something that you don't like. What are you going to do about it? Well, if you grew up in a certain kind of household, you use your fists. Grew up in another household, use a gun. Grew up in another household, you cold shoulder her. You understand? It's not complicated. Your thoughts and your emotions are patterned by your past experiences. And so those psychologists, that branch of psychology, not really a branch, but a pocket, that says humans don't really have willpower, are saying that that is so strong, those patterns are so strong, that they determine your behavior. Okay? Now I'm going to ask you, every one of you, have you ever noticed you have those patterns in there? Have you ever noticed you're repulsed or attracted or bored based upon your past experiences? Have you ever risen above it? Ever? Have you ever decided, I'm not going with this? Have you ever decided to want to have a drink and not? Ever decided to want to yell at somebody and didn't? Ever decided you don't want to say you're sorry more than anything in the entire world? Everything inside of you is turning somersaults and you made yourself apologize? Yes or no? Then you have willpower. Okay? So it's not true that you don't have willpower. I understand why they teach that, because it is very strong, these tendencies, aren't they? But you are stronger than them. Do you see that? Do you understand that? Now, I'm going to ask you a very embarrassing question. Have you always been stronger than them? Okay, they're pretty strong, aren't they? Have they ever caught you by surprise, came up when you didn't even know they were there, and then you look back and you're very sorry about what you did? Because there's pots and pans all over the place. Yes or no? Okay, so now we're having a discussion. But that doesn't mean you don't have will. You have will. You have will. Whether we exercise it, whether it's at the moment strong enough to overcome these tendencies, that's yoga. That is what's called evolution. A totally evolved being, a perfect master, that's just one way of calling it, does not have that problem. Yukteswar, guru, once said to him, told him something. He said, I promise you, I'll do this. This will happen, right? And you're going to ask him, well, how can I be sure? You know what he said? Sooner the sun and moon should change places in the heavens than this will not take place. How would you like to be able to say that? In other words, I am the master of my own ship. Is there stuff in here? Of course there's stuff in here. Can it influence me and cause me to behave in a way that I have decided willfully not to? Do you have the right to decide where your ship goes? Doesn't mean it's going to go there. But can you set the pole star of your life? Can you decide, I want to get married? But you don't know anybody. Okay, look out. Is it not a force to be reckoned with? Okay, that's true of positive, negative, everything, right? You are a powerful being. And if you put your whole heart and soul and mind behind something, right, it will take place. It may not take place exactly like you saw it, but you have power. Do you know that? Have you seen that? There are situations, and I've read about them, and they're true, where a 97-pound housewife sees a car fall on her baby or on the husband or something, ran out there and picked up that car. Do you understand that? Have you ever seen the stories of that? How can that happen? Willpower. All right? Could she do it again? Not a chance. Does she understand how she did it? Not a chance. It's just her entire being, her heart, her mind, her soul went and did this. You have willpower. You have willpower that's beyond your comprehension. Okay, so let's talk about it. What is willpower? Where does it come from? Now we're going to get very spiritual on you. I won't pull any punches, all right? You said you're in there. Who's in there? Do you notice you have thoughts? Got the wrong crowd. Does anybody notice they have thoughts? Does anybody notice they have emotions? The only thing your world wants to talk to you about is your thoughts and emotions. Yoga wants to talk to you about who notices. Something is in there noticing that the thoughts and emotions. Otherwise, who cares? But thoughts do get created, and you do notice they're there. I've even heard people who lost their temper discuss it as follows. Well, I was there, and I was watching my thoughts, and I saw it was like a rumble down low and below my stomach. I could see it. I've seen it before. I've seen it come up. And I was sitting there, and I was trying to pay attention to it. The next thing I know, I wasn't there. I wasn't there when it happened. I wasn't there when I hit somebody. I wasn't there when I yelled. Then I came back. I didn't want to come back because I didn't want to see what I did. Anybody? Okay. Who is in there watching this? Who is in there noticing and then isn't? Or at least is overwhelmed by the energy inside to where they're not. We use the word centered. That's what centered would mean. You've heard the word centered? Yoga, they all talk about get centered, be centered. It means you're in there, whoever you are, you're in there noticing what is going on in there. You're centered. When you're not centered, it's like a wave came over you and you drowned. You became overwhelmed. Not a nice word, overwhelmed. And you lost it. Hey, have you ever used the word, I lost it? What did you lose? You lost your seat of centered consciousness, centered awareness, the witness. Okay? I don't care if you ever heard the word, the witness, ever in your entire life. You're in there. And you're noticing your thoughts and you're noticing your emotions until you're not. Does that mean you're not in there? It means that the emotion or the thoughts overwhelmed, and really what they did is draw your consciousness into them. They distracted your consciousness so much. It was so distracting that I couldn't stay here. I just got sucked into it. I lost it. Oh, I love these words. And every one of you use them at different times in your life. Have you not? Okay? What's happening, it's not that you're not there. You're always there. You're always conscious. You're a conscious being. But your consciousness is now completely focused on this tremendous emotion, on this anger, on this lust, on this need, whatever the heck it is. Your consciousness got sucked into it. It's funny. In Patanjali Yoga Sutras, he talks about when subject and object become one. You have experienced subject and object became one. When you lose it, it became the wrong one. What's supposed to happen when he's talking about it is that all the energies come up. What happened when you lose it is your consciousness got drawn down into the overwhelmingly powerful energy of your emotions or your thoughts. And then it drifts back up when it releases. Why does it drift back up? Because that energy expresses itself. It releases itself. Do you understand that? I'm talking about the chakras. I don't want to talk about them. Okay? There's three things that can happen with the chakras. One, the energy can be pushed down below it, suppressed, held together, tight as a guitar string, an over-tightened guitar string. Just keep it down there. It's going to come back up. Don't worry. Two, it can come up, but it's hard to handle. So what does it do? It goes out. That is a normal human being state. One chakra or another, it's going out, and you know what I'm talking about. First chakra, you're scared to death. You run, you flight. It's goes out. It doesn't sit there. You can't sit there. It goes crazy. Right? Second chakra, I will not discuss because you're children. All right? And third chakra is where you live. It goes out all the time. You defend yourself. You argue. You hear what I'm saying? You express when you want something. It's like it's always going out. Everybody's going out that center. And everybody's fighting with each other because they all want different things. That's why there's war. That's why there's every single thing. That's why there's total disharmony. Give me 8.5 billion people, all of whom their psyche is the sum of their learned experiences, and they've all had totally different experiences, and the energy comes up. What are you going to do with it? It wants to go out. To do what? Fight to avoid what it doesn't like and fight to get what it wants. Have you ever done that in your life? Have you ever not done that in your life? It's what you do. It's what you're taught to do. How to get what you want and avoid what you don't want. How do you do that? By expressing that energy externally. And if you get what you want, it feels a lot better, doesn't it? And if you don't get what you want, you get what you don't want, it gets all knotted up in there. That's energy. And then fourth center, we like to talk about, as you like to think about that chakra, that what happens if you're sitting there in the presence of somebody and your energy happens to come up into the fourth chakra. Are you comfortable not hugging that person? Are you comfortable not calling that person? Are you comfortable not interacting with that person? No, you're not. Sometimes you are. Sometimes it just is so beautiful you can sit there quietly. Not often. It wants to express itself. It wants to release itself. Okay? And have you ever been in the presence of someone you love a great deal and literally felt the energy tied together with their heart? Not all of you have, but some of you have. It's just you can feel it go out of your heart and out of there. And it's really very special, very beautiful, right? But still it's going out. Always it has to release because we don't know how to handle it. Just like you can't handle your liquor, you can't handle your love. All right? And just to finish the discussion, let's say that happens and you make a connection like that. You know what happens? The third chakra gets activated. Possessiveness, jealousy, ownership. Okay? Well, that's third chakra. And next thing you know, has that ever gone on in any of your relationships? Ever turned into some third chakra stuff of possessiveness and ownership and judging? And okay, that's what happens. But the energy's always going out. It's going out. Okay? It requires staying centered for the energy to go up. I'm letting things out of the bag early here. If you can stay centered, as that energy comes up into those different centers, it will keep going up. It will keep going up. It will pierce. It's called piercing the heart chakra. That's one you've heard about. If you can stay centered, not suppress. I can't. Am I supposed to go with this? No, that's pushing it back down. Not, okay, I can express it and then I feel better. Yeah, okay, you feel better, but you use the energy to go out. Yoga is always about going up. Spirituality is about evolving up. The more evolved you are, the higher the energy can go without you getting weird. Well, you get weird in the first chakra, don't you? Help. Third chakra, gimme, stay away from me, gimme, stay away from me. Fourth chakra, oh, I love you so much. Come, let's go together, stay together, let's eat together, let's never be separate. Okay? Well, what if you make it past that? You don't even want to. Love, what did James Taylor say? There ain't no doubt in no one's mind that love's the finest thing around. That's not true. That's only fourth chakra. In fact, what you call love is energy going out the fourth chakra. There's 7 other things. And as beautiful as love is compared to ego, me, I, me, mine, it's a big difference, isn't it? Not even close to what happens in the higher centers. And every one of you are capable of going to the higher centers. And that's your entire life. That's the purpose of your life, is to evolve through this. How? Will has a lot to do with it, doesn't it? Why? Because the energy pulls you into it. Not just lower energies or anger energies, right? Love energy pulls you into it. And there's nothing wrong with that. Don't ever think I teach you not to love. Okay? You're going to find out that it's way higher when it pierces. Like the heart chakra is broken into 2 areas. The lower area is human love. It's very beautiful. Most people don't get to feel it. I'm sorry for them. All right? It's a beautiful thing. And that whole interaction of expressing and sharing that love is the lower half of the fourth chakra. Look what it would take to go past that. People think going past it is renunciation. Renunciation has nothing to do with this path. Nothing. Renunciation is basically saying, no, I'm not going to go with love. That's pushing it away. It's never about pushing it away. And it's never about, it is part of your evolution to learn to express it and go past it. You can grow past the second chakra. Not everybody is some freaking maniac. You just learn to balance your energy, right or wrong. Doesn't mean it's not there. You raise your energy, you bring it up. You find that there's higher things, there's higher ways to interact with people than first and second or even third chakra. And so basically, how do you do that? You have to maintain your center. We're talking about will. If you maintain your center, I made a statement to you a moment ago. If you can maintain your center as the energies move, the energies will go to the highest part of your being by themselves. No pranayama, no meditation. There's nothing wrong with those things, and we should do them, right? But if you can stay centered, seated, not suppressing, not fighting, just I'm in here and I see anger coming up. I'm in here, I see lust coming up. I'm in here, I see reaching out. I'm married, I see reaching out for my tennis coach or my golf pro. I see that. And what do you do about it? I see it. It's called witness consciousness. That's what you're doing about it. I see it. I notice it. I see it. Yeah, there it is. And it doesn't pull me into it. It's there. Lots of things are there that don't pull you into them. You drive by white lines on the road all the time, don't you? However, if you happen to be a white line painter who was messy and it dribbled and you got fired, you don't drive by white lines anymore without noticing. You have something going with them and you get weird. You are capable, perfectly capable, not right now, but you're capable without effort, to be seated in consciousness and notice what you're noticing. You know, it sounds weird. You do it all the time. You're doing it right now. Do you notice what's in front of you? Are you getting weird? Are you trying to notice what's in front of you? How hard is it to see what's in front of you? Under normal circumstances, it's not hard. You don't do anything. There's no effort. Why can't you see what's inside of you exactly the same? It's the same consciousness. It's just seeing inside things instead of outside things. That's the deepest thing I can ever teach you. You can't even answer me why you can't do that. Is it not true that you see the person in front of you? Is it not true you see the pole? Is it not true you see the light? See the beams on the ceiling? You tired? I don't want to do this anymore. You see the whole outside. You see every moment of your life with no effort. I'll give you a clue. It's not true that you see everything with no effort. If a 15-foot rattlesnake is in here crawling around, you have trouble just seeing, don't you? You have trouble just seeing it, just like you see the white lines on the road. That's such a clue. That's exactly why you can't just see inside. Because you have a bunch of rattlesnakes in there. Don't you? A whole bunch of rattlesnakes. How about this? Every single thing that ever bothered you from the beginning of your life till now is still in there. Because you didn't let it go. You held on to it. You pushed it away. You didn't want to experience it. Don't you talk to me like that. No one's going to talk to me like that. Period. I guarantee you. All right, well, what's going on inside of you? Someone talking to you like that. Now what happens if somebody shows up who once talked to you like that? You run away. Just like the rattlesnake. Is anybody, I don't want to go into great detail. Am I right or wrong? What an analogy. It is true that you can't, Zen talks about just seeing, right? You all are grown up. It means just seeing. You just see. That's what you're seeing. There's nothing going. You just see. There's a Zen story that's very, very beautiful about a young Zen monk, and there was a Zen master, and every day he would go and meet with the Zen master. And the Zen master would ask him some questions, and they then would send him away. Okay? This one time, The boy came in, he sat down with the Zen master, and the Zen master said, "What happened to you, my son?" The kid said, "Well, I don't know what you're talking about." He said, "No, there's something very, very different about you. You're glowing, you're elevated. What happened?" He said, I don't know. I was walking through the courtyard like I always do, and there was that giant oak tree, all right? And I walked by it, and I saw the oak tree. And sat down with the master, and the master said, you walk by the oak tree every single day of your life since you've been here. I don't understand. He said, no, every time I walk by, I saw a tree like I fell out of when I was young. I saw a tree that pollution's going to destroy. I saw a tree that must be 100 years old. It's so special, right? This time, I just saw the tree. I saw just tree. That's because you have nothing going. It didn't hit anything inside of you. So you saw what was there. You didn't see the reflection of what's inside of you because of what was there. You just saw what was there. And there was a moment of satori. There was a moment of enlightenment, and the master saw it. Okay? It's the same thing with you. You're that way with the white lines on the road. You're that way with 99.9% of every single thing you see. It comes in and goes right through you to see what it is. People walk by, buildings go by, trees go by, right or wrong. But if it hits something, I always say like the story in Into the Soul. You're driving by all these cars on LA Expressway, but one looks like your girlfriend's car and somebody's hugging somebody. That one did not go right by. Did it? It's the same as every other car, but not to you. Why? Because inside you have something going. So you can't just see. Otherwise you can just see. You have to do anything to just see. You have to not do something. You have to not have stuff, and then you just see. So basically, if the rattlesnake is there outside, you can't just see because it stimulates all the stuff inside. If a thought about what your mother said 30 years ago crosses your mind, rattlesnake crawls by in your mind, you can't just see from then on. You get distracted by it. That's so deep. That's the essence of all of spirituality. So what happens is you've stored all this stuff inside because you couldn't let it go. You weren't evolved enough to just see it. That's what your sister did, what your father did, what your first husband did, what this did, what boyfriend did, right? All this different stuff. And so what you did is you protected yourself from it by suppressing it, by Freud, by pushing it away inside. When you push it away, you push it down into the Shakti system. It's going to come back up. It always comes back up. It has to come back up. Well, it's like take a spring, push it down, it'll pop back up. You have to use will to push it down. Everything's the same. Everything is the same. That's called non-duality. You've heard the non-dualist teachings. Everything is the same. It's just there. It's just what is. You differentiate it because you couldn't handle it. It came up and you push it down. Then it's stored inside. You know how much stuff you got stored in there? You don't want to know, okay? Because it's going to come. Does it come back up? Why am I telling you? Does it come back up? It comes back up in your dreams. It comes back up when you see something. It comes back up when somebody says something. It comes back when somebody doesn't say something. Pay attention. It's down there because you, we're talking about will throughout all of this. Why is it down there? Because you pushed it down there. Well, how? Will. You use your will to say, not on my watch. What? That which just happened is not going to happen on my watch. Sorry, just did. What are you going to do about it? You can't make it. Which one of you have ever made something not have happened that happened? Nobody has ever done such a thing. So now this is spirituality. You get to the point where you say, if it happened, I better handle it. But I can't. So what do you do about it when you can't handle it? I use my will to protect myself from it. And you think you're supposed to be doing that. You think that's a rational, reasonable thing to do. You actually come to me and say, but aren't there boundaries? You don't ever want to talk to me that way. You know what your boundaries are? That which hits your stuff so much that you can't handle it. Look into outer space. Are there boundaries? There are no boundaries anywhere. There's just reality. There's just life. But you built boundaries. You stored stuff inside of you that was disturbing to you, or that you really, really liked, which is just as problematic. Why? Because you want it to happen again. If you don't want it to happen, or you want it to happen, you can't be here now. You can't stay centered. So I said, if a rattlesnake comes in here, you can't just see it. What if the person you love more than anything in the whole world, and you thought they had died in the war, and they just walked in the door? Can you be here now? Can you just see it as like everything else? Not a chance in the world. So that what you really, really like, and that what you really, really don't like, it distracts you a little bit. Okay? That's what's happening inside. So you've stored this stuff inside. Right now, I always give you a pass. Don't worry about the positive stuff right now. That's fine. I'm glad you have some. Bet you don't have too many. Now, sometimes take inventory and see how many negative things you couldn't handle that you stored in there versus how many positive things that were so positive. Because it ain't many, I'll tell you right now, right? 1,000,000 to 1. But don't worry about the positive, some scars. Those are some scars. Don't worry about it, right? But the negative ones, I'm telling you, if you walk down the plaza or someplace and there's a friend walking by, just happen to be walking by, and you say, hey, Sally, how you doing? And she does not turn around and recognize that you said hello, you have a problem. And the next time you see Sally, you're going to do one of two things. You're going to avoid her because you can't handle what it felt like when she didn't say hello. Or the first thing you're going to say to her is, why didn't you say hello the other day, 5 days ago? Oh, you mean you held that, did you? I didn't hear it. I had earbuds on. I was listening to music. Or I was thinking of something. But you can't handle it, can you? Come on, be honest. You can't handle it. So what you do with that's a pretty little thing. You had a lot of those things happen in your life. A lot of people didn't behave exactly the way you wanted them to, did they? Especially your lovers, people you were close with. They hurt you, didn't they? Okay? No, they did not hurt you. They did not hurt you. If they physically abused you, they hurt you. And I always teach that. There's no excuse for hitting somebody or under any circumstances ever, unless you're protecting yourself. Okay, you do. But in terms of you can't handle yourself and you take it out on somebody, leave. Don't ever tolerate that. You have a responsibility of protecting your body. It's a gift that was given to you. You hear me? There's 25 trillion cells working together to make your body. No, nobody gets to abuse it. Okay, now inside, that's a whole other story. Nobody hurt you. You got hurt by what they did. There's a big difference. Somebody else could have liked it. My Uncle George, he was like that. I loved him to pieces. I can't believe I haven't met another person that was as rude as he was. But he didn't mean it, and I knew that. Like, we can all take it different ways, can't we? I'm telling you the truth. Nobody hurt you. You got hurt by what somebody did. How would you feel if somebody pooped on you or peed on you like your 3-month-old baby? Oh, he's so cute. You're doing it. Inside, you do it. I know you don't like hearing this. It comes in, what does? Life, sounds, sights, things come in, don't they? Why did they come in? Because they happened. Because they're reality. Let's say you say to somebody, and I know you do, why did you say that to me? How could you say that to me? Let's see how I want to do. I'm getting tough with you guys today. How could you say that to me? Right? Stop. Do you really want an answer? Because we got to go all the way back. Mommy, daddy, sister, brother, this, that, girlfriend. Every single thing that ever happened to them is why they said that to you. Is that true or not? It's not that you said something yesterday or you did, right? Are you kidding me? That's one drop in an ocean of inputs that have happened to that person that made up their psyche, that caused them to not be able to stay centered at the moment when you wore what you wore or said what you said or did what you did. Do you understand that? And then it came up and overwhelmed them. Now do you understand why they did it? It had nothing to do with you, did it? Okay? This is what it means to grow spiritually. You wake up, right? By the way, that's what Christ meant by turn the other cheek. Somebody attacks you, you defend yourself. But this stuff, don't store it. You have a choice. Turn the other cheek, let it pass through. That's what it means. Let it pass. What does turn the other cheek mean? Let go. Let it pass through. Don't sit there and fight it and resist this stupid stuff. So you end up keeping inside of you. You keep everything inside of you that you didn't like. You're the one who didn't like it. Okay, we just said, how could he have said that? Why didn't you like it? It'd take me 17 years to explain to you why you didn't like it. You better take Psych 101 through Psych 1407, 12. All what mommy did, what daddy did, what uncle did, what every single person ever did in your entire life, and what they didn't do also, is why you couldn't handle what that person said. That's a serious truth, isn't it? You have some work to do, don't you? So if you use your will to resist reality, you're in trouble. I'm going to repeat that. If you use your will to resist reality, that which happened, I don't accept that it happened. I don't want it to have happened. It is not going to have happened. Don't you ever do that. That's ridiculous. Why? Because it happened. That's why we teach what we teach. You start with acceptance. You don't end with it. You're not like everyone push you around. You're not nothing. All right? They have no spine. That's not what that means. You start with acceptance. Why? It's ridiculous not to. Why? It happened. You're never going to make it not have happened. So your choice is, I accept that it happened. Now what can I do about it? What should I be doing about it? Maybe there's nothing to do about it. He said something not nice to you and then walked away. You got a choice. Let it screw you up or just let it go. That's will. It requires will. You have to decide to let it screw you up. It took will to push that thing away and suppress it and hold it inside of you. It didn't stay in there by itself. There's no super glue in there. There is no flypaper. There's no super glue. There's no cement. There's not a single thing in there. It's more etheric than air. Things just come in and go right through. I told you, 99% of every single thing you ever saw or heard went right through. Look what you're taking in. Okay? It's all the time. It passes right through. You're the one who decided not on my watch. You used your will to push it down, to push it away. And that's our problem. That's an issue. Okay? I started telling you a great master, a perfect master, is centered in the seat of consciousness and never leaves. Never leaves. Does that mean there's nothing going on down there that's human? Because that center of consciousness ain't human. Don't you dare ever say I'm only human. You got one of those human things, but you're not it. You notice it. You see it. You're the witness of it, okay? So a perfect master is seated with no effort, is seated in that seat, okay? And does anything go on down there? I love the fact. Ramakrishna was a perfect master. A very, very great being. Totally gone. They asked him, does a perfect master enlightened being ever feel anger? You know what he said? Yes. But it's like riding on water. If you ride on water, how long does it last? Can you read it? In other words, it comes right through, passes right through. Yes, it happens. Yes, it hits something. Yes, it passes right through. Well, it's not a problem then, is it? The white lines pass right through. So does everything else. And so you understand how far away from that we are. Like we're using our will to make it not pass through. We're using our will to create serious solidity in there. You got some walls in there? I talked about borders, right? Are there certain things that I once heard somebody say, we never talk about that around your father. You know anybody, there's things, tiptoe through tulips? Huh? Ever tiptoe through tulips? You know you can't talk about that. You know, sensitive subject. What are sensitive subjects? Stuff that you or that person stored stuff inside from the past, and when it comes up, it ain't okay. Do you have sensitive subjects? I don't want you to. I want you to be, it's called Jiva Mukta. I want you to be a liberated being. I want you to wake up in the morning so excited that you woke up and can't wait to see what's going to happen today. Because it's just fun. It's exciting. Okay? And so you're capable of reaching that state. But it takes will. You have to learn how to use your will. Right now, all right, first of all, I started saying to you, what is will? You're conscious. You know you're conscious. Your consciousness can focus. Did you know that? Every time you think, you focus on your thoughts. You focus on your emotion. You focus on, it has the ability to focus or not focus. All right? A great being, as funny as it sounds, you also are meditating on a single object. A great being is not focused one iota. They are expanded everywhere. Your consciousness, the very consciousness that can't handle this stuff, that's doing all this stuff, that's watching your stuff, is a point that expands out throughout the entire universe. You are the greatest thing that ever walked the face of the earth. You in there. Right now, I don't care what you ever did. I don't care what problems you caused. It doesn't make any difference. It has nothing to do with anything. Nothing can take away from who you are. You are consciousness. Divine consciousness. God consciousness. You are consciousness. That consciousness is distracted. That consciousness is distracted by your thoughts and your emotions and your body and what's coming in through your senses. So distracted that it comes down to a tiny little point called your center, which then loses it into your stuff. That's what's going on. I once used the analogy. Notice outside there's light everywhere, isn't there? There's the sun. It sheds its light everywhere equally. It's all the same light. Okay? Take a magnifying glass. Hold it anywhere as you want on that field. And it's going to make a point that is so powerful that it could burn things. That is how you're to visualize what's going on here. There's 8.3 billion magnifying glasses under the same light, the same consciousness, and it is focusing on that point. So that's what a human being is. God descended, but he forgot who he was. It's like, that's it. The same consciousness is focused on your stuff, and you're lost in it, and you think that's who you are. You're so lost in what you're looking at that you forget where you came from and who you are. Well, what it means to grow spiritually is to expand that, to let go of that, to not get caught up in that. And it then will naturally, you will find yourself being more expansive, more open. You'll find yourself accepting other people because you understand they're lost in their stuff like you were lost. That's what compassion is. Sympathy is, oh, I can relate to that. I have the same feeling. I've been through that. You poor little thing, all right? Compassion is, I used to be there. I used to be down there also. So I understand where you are. And I know you don't need to be there. That's compassion. I don't insist that you not be there, but it's just the understanding is so deep that what it comes out is compassion, not sympathy. Buddhists say compassion was the highest emotion that a human being can ever feel. Why? Because it's not about you. It doesn't relate it back to you. Sympathy relates it back to you. Sympathy means I can relate to what you're going through. It means I'm still separate. I'm still caught in my stuff. Compassion is, I'm not caught there, but I understand how difficult it is. And you have my understanding and my compassion. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And if you expand enough, then that's how you see the whole world. That's what Christ was. Forgive them, Lord, they don't know what they do. You who is without sin, throw the first stone, etc., etc. There's just no judgment, no anything, just a complete understanding of the human condition, which is you are stuck in there because you're distracted by your stuff. But go to will. No stuff stays in there. No stuff stays in there except you keep it. There's nothing keeping it in there. There's nothing in there but your will. Otherwise, events come in and they pass through. That's why you have senses, so you can experience this world. So who can experience? The consciousness. It has a robot. They have sensors that send the messages back to the consciousness. I've told you that before. You are not looking out through your eyes. You are not looking at me. You are not looking out through your eyes. You have never looked out through your eyes. And science agrees with me. What is happening is light is here, and your eyes have photosensitive cells. They pick up light. So the light that bounces off of these objects reflects back into your eyes. It is then turned into neural messages and is sent up through your nervous system into the brain. And it's like your flat screen TV. It creates the image inside your mind. Your flat screen TV is nothing but dots. Get up there close. But it looks like what the dots were made, from the camera. It's the same thing. Light is bouncing off of objects, hitting your eyes, coming in, and rendering the exact image. Maybe not exact. You could be colorblind. Rendering the exact images inside your mind, and you are sitting there looking at it inside your mind. You're not looking at me out here. Okay, see, science is a good thing, isn't it? right? Wow, blow your mind. You've never seen anything, okay? All you get is, it renders in your mind. The problem is, I could talk about this forever, I won't, right? The problem is, to render in your mind, there's other stuff going on in there. Your mind's not clean. Let's do this. I'll put a news channel on. I'll have the guy or gal showing the news, and now I want you to watch a movie without getting that off your screen. Superimpose the movie on top of that newscaster, and on top of 15,000 other things. That's what your mind screens looks like. It's got all that garbage in there, so that what comes in isn't what's really there. Oh, look at that. The gaps in the wall, they shouldn't be like that. It shrunk too much. People judge. Based on what? Based on what was already in there. Gosh, she looks like my sister. I don't like my sister at all. I don't like her. Wow, she looks like my first girlfriend when I was in the 5th grade. That we got along so well, but then her parents moved. God, I want to know this person. She's a mass murderer. She's a serial killer. What's the matter with you? But it's superimposed on top of all this garbage you have inside. That now you understand. Buddhists have a term, empty mind. Ever heard it? It means the screen's clean, so that what comes in is here now. Just tree. We're back to that. Zen is deep stuff. The trouble is we're not there. Why? Because we are using our will to make sure we're not there. We're using our will to make sure it's not there, then we're using our will to make believe we are there. I'm being here now. No, I have to pay attention. Don't distract me. I'm being here now. See the difference? You made a mess with will, and now you're trying to use will to not get rid of the mess, but to make believe you're not a mess. I'll wear white, I'll dress a certain way, I'll act a certain way, I'll have certain beliefs and this, that, and the other thing underneath it all. Oh, now you understand will. What is will? Will is focused consciousness. Consciousness is God. Consciousness created the entire universe. It is the force of all creation, and you're it. But you're so focused on just you. Talk about claustrophobia. Poor God. He's locked inside of you. Why? Because you built this thing in there, the rattlesnakes that you're scared of or that you're desirous of. And so you can't get your consciousness off of it. If it draws your consciousness down to that point and you think this is what you are, and then you spend all your time trying to do this, that, and the other thing. So when consciousness focuses, the power of God comes with it. And that's what willpower is. You have willpower. You can change the universe. I can pick up this glass. You have will, right? What did Christ say? Not my will, but thy will be done. In other words, yeah, I have will. He could have done anything. He had all kinds of powers. But he just sat there and said, why would I do that? Go do your thing. You built the whole universe. You can do this too. And so you get to the point where you understand, when you focus your energy, you bring Shakti, Chi, energy with it, okay? And that is the power of will. So if I focus on this rattlesnake and put all my energy and consciousness into the rattlesnake, that's staying in there. I'm going to remember that rattlesnake was there. You built a pattern inside. So basically, now you have to learn what to do with your will willfully. Master Yogananda used to teach his earliest lessons, right, were there's conscious will and there's habit-formed will. That's what he called it. What do you mean? That's what scientists call neural pathways. It's really the energy, the consciousness that is addicted to flowing in a given direction, to drinking, to this, to that, to not liking this person. It's learned, and it's going to go that way by itself, isn't it? Go see a person you don't like. Well, this stuff's going to happen, isn't it? Automatically, that's habit-formed will. So what you want to do is learn to raise yourself by learning, and again, I've learned over the years that it's not about fighting habit-formed will. It's not about sitting there saying, I shouldn't be like this, I shouldn't be like this, I don't like that, I'm doing like this. Right? It's not about taking your will to fight your habit-formed will. It's about understanding why those patterns are still in there. Those patterns are in there because you couldn't handle what happened. So I don't want you to sit there and say, okay, I still can't handle what happened, but I'm going to rise above it. No. Get it out. Get what out? Get the patterns out. Get the stuff out that you stored in there from before that are causing the habit-formed patterns of your will, that are causing you to be distracted, that are causing you to now do yoga to fight with yourself. I'd much rather have you go down there and say, why do I need inside of me something that happened 22 years ago that will never happen again? The people are dead, and I'm storing this inside of me, screwing myself up, and causing psychological patterns to go on inside of me, and behavior patterns, which then cause other patterns. Why don't I just sit there and say, I'm sorry it happened 22 years ago, but it's over. Why can't it be over? It's not me, it hurt too much. It's going to keep hurting if you keep it inside of you. It makes no sense. It will stop hurting if you let it go. That's why letting go is the essence of spirituality. But do you need will to let go? Of course you do. Pick why. It was stored with pain. It's coming back with pain. Has anybody noticed? It was stored with pain. It's going to come back up with pain. It's going to come back up feeling exactly like it felt when you stored it. Even if you were 5, it will feel that way again, won't it? Where's my blankie? We're adorable. Okay? So basically, your spiritual path, really the root of your spiritual path, is to learn to let go of the stuff that you do not need in there. There's no reason in the world that's in there, and it is screwing up your life. It's determining your life, determining what you like and what you don't like, and who you like and how long you like them. It's determining every single thing. You want to have good relationships? Let go of this stuff. If you let go of your stuff, you can get along with anybody. Sure, there'll be certain people that you end up with, but you're fine. You just understand everything, and you're fine. You know, I want you to have no problems. I don't want you to overcome your problems. I want you to have no problems. I don't want you to get what you want and avoid what you don't want. I want you to honor and respect reality so much that you just think it blows you away that it exists. When you interact with a person, you know what that is? I told you, the body is like 25 trillion living cells alive, communicating with each other to make up the body. And that's what you're talking to? And you better not be hitting it. You hear me? That's a pretty phenomenal thing there. And I told you, that person has a mind. What does that mean? If you were really wise, this is how you would interact with another person when you're talking, right? They're making sounds out of the vocal cords. It has the ability to make sounds, does it not? And your mind is so brilliant, it understands what those sounds were meant to be. Oh my God. It's just phenomenal. And they make a lot of sounds. Look how many words are in the dictionary. And they know what the words mean. And you know what the words mean. It's kind of far out that that's what talking is. You should be blown away by talking. It should literally inside, you should be so centered that you're in there going, wow, this is far out. Have fun. It is fun, isn't it? It's kind of ridiculous. And that goes for everything in all of life. If you let go of your stuff. Otherwise, what's going to happen is you're not okay. Why? Because you have all this stuff in there. That's why you're not okay. You're not okay because you didn't get what you want. You're not okay because you want something. You're not okay because there's stuff stored inside that blocks your energy. So now you're trying to compensate for it by getting things and money and traveling and doing things and drinking and drugs and whatever the heck you do. Who cares? You do it because you're not okay. Not a single thing you did in your life except that you're not okay. But I felt in love with her. Why didn't you feel love before you met her? Why weren't you filled with love all the time? It's your natural state. Don't sell yourself short. Now, that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with having relationships, right? You got to grow. You got to grow. But understand the reason you're doing every single thing you do is because you're not okay. Well, what would it be like if I was okay? You'd be filled with ecstasy. Every single minute, Shakti would be pouring through your being. You can't even keep your eyes fully open. Oh, right? And you know, people learn to handle the liquor. You learn to handle your Shakti. You learn to go to work. You learn to take care of your family while you're in ecstasy. Well, why do you have a family? I don't know. They end up there. I was in ecstasy and they showed up. I don't know. Well, why did you go to work? Because it's there. Somebody asked me to do something, so I go to work. Why do they pay you? I don't know. I don't know anything. I just know I'm just filled with ecstasy and love all the time. Every single thing I do. Okay? And I would go to work and I earn money and take care of the money and just You just do it for no reason. You do it because it's there. So basically, you have a beautiful life to live. The problem is you haven't dealt with the fact that you couldn't handle things. And so you used your beautiful will, that is really the power of God. Will is a very great thing. You used it to make a mess of yourself. You used it to store inside of you every single thing that ever bothered you. Well, I used to ask you the question. I have to stop now. I'm out of time. I don't want to be. If you store inside of you everything that ever bothered you, what's it going to be like inside? Bothered. That's why it's bothered. It's not bothered because of other people. It's not bothered because of this, that, or the other thing. It's not bothered because you're on a little tiny planet spinning around a little nowhere. Give me a break. I would tell you 1.3 million Earths inside the sun. And what are you bothered by? And so you just finally get to the point where you say, I don't want to carry this stuff inside of me. You know how long it takes me to teach you how not to? I think I have 30 seconds left, right? Well, how do I know how to find it? It will find you. Well, what do I do when it comes up? Let it go. Well, what do I do if it's difficult to let it go? Center, use your will. You used your will to store it. You use your will to let it go. Fight with it? No. Raise it. Raise it up. Welcome it up. You don't want it in there. You don't want it in there. So just say, oh, thank God you're coming back up. It's a positive experience. But it hurts. It was stored with pain. You're getting rid of the pain that was stored. You want to do that. You want to do that. That's why you do mantra. That's why you do all the techniques, so that you can learn to let go. And do the easy stuff first. The driver in front of you can take you to a very high state. Why? Because you can't handle it. The rain, the weather, can take you to a very, very high spiritual state. Why? Because you can't handle it. You can't handle it raining if you don't want it to. You can't handle the wind messing up your hair. Learn to accept, to honor, respect, love, appreciate. Just work with yourself to handle these stupid things that you're busy fighting with yourself about, and you're going to find out that your will gets stronger. It now becomes more conscious will as opposed to habit-form will. Why? Because you did that. You learn to play tennis. How? You learn how to hold a racket. You hit it in the net. You learn. You learn. You can learn to work with yourself. You don't have to put up with the fact that your old garbage is running your life. But you can't do the big things. Just start with the simple things. I go into this in great detail in my latest book, Living Untethered. Will you work with yourself? I'm telling you, if you let go of your stuff, it's higher than any spiritual technique you can ever do. Why? Because you won't have to meditate. You will be in a state of total meditation. It will just pull you up into it. Jagardiv.